Begin transmission.
This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Well, hello everybody. Time for another Sunday live stream. Get some preliminaries out of the way. You guys let me know how it sounds, how it looks. I need to know before I get good and started. Let me get to the chat here and see what's going on. We got Bjorn Jorgensen. He was first in the chat as always. Good to see you there, Bjorn. Bobo Hicks, glad to see you, man. Hello. And Masters Maniac Mexico is in. Good to see you, Rolo. Rolando Flores, good to see you. Will McLaughlin, good to see you, sir. And Nolan, good to see you. And I think that covers just about everybody so far. How are y'all doing today? I hope everybody's having a good Sunday afternoon here. I am here. I hope you joined me for the video premiere earlier today. That's where we went out to Walmart. I had my daughter on the camera, and I was on the lookout for some superpowers, but I ended up finding that Roton. So we'll see what happens with that later on. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. And then, of course, you saw me get Leech and Snout Spout, and you know what my feelings about Snout Spout. He ended up going back, and I didn't get Leech either because Leech has never been on my radar. But if any of you guys are interested in Leech, just let me know because I'd be more than happy to go back and get him. So let me introduce my guest who's going to be on the show today. So here we go. Hey, what's going on, Adam? Good to have you on the show with me again today. How's things been going on your end, man?
It's been going great. It's been a great weekend so far. Had a great live stream the other night. It was nice to see everybody. I see everybody's in the chat room, like Will, and we got Rolo and a few other great guys. I think we're going to have a good show here today.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate all the shout outs that you did for me and all the rest of the channels there on the event that you guys put on. Good to see Motu Jones are coming in and getting in the live stream game. He needs to start doing his own. What he needs to do. We need to start really getting on to him and try to get him to start doing some live streaming too. All right, so what are you in the mood for looking at today? Because I've got some toys here on display that I'm going to bring up here in a minute.
I know you got some more DC stuff coming, right? You also have that Roton, so I'm interested just to see the package art and stuff on it because, well, Moto fan, so myself, so that would be my vote. But yeah.
All right, we'll see what happens. You guys in the chat, just shout out what y'all would like to see. I see everybody saying hello to each other. Will McLaughlin says, "Adam, good to see you. It's good to see everybody showing up." And let me get my chat pulled up here and. We'll look at some of what people are saying here. I hate this mouse that I've got. I'm gonna have to get a new mouse. Boa Hicks is saying Revenge of Shinobi. And
yeah, background.
Yeah, and we got Will McLaughlin. Adam, good to see you. I know you guys can hear the train. I'm live next to the railroad tracks and train running by. Will McLaughlin, love that hunt, Bill. Yeah, that was fun, man. And Bjorn said he wanted to see some tigers. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm going to hit you up on Facebook after this is over with and send you a picture of that tiger that I sent Jim. And look, Gap After Dark showed up. Hey, Hale, Weird, and Adam in chat. So good to see Gap After Dark. All right, so let me get ready to get the toy cam coming up so we can look at what we got on display over here. Let me mess around here with my settings. And this stupid mouse keeps messing up with me. I'm gonna have to get another mouse because the main button kind of, you got to give a good push on it to get it going.
It's funny you say that because I actually had to just replace my mouse just the other day because mine was cutting in and out and making some funky.
Yeah, I don't know. They just have they have a life to them, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's bring the old toy cam here into the screen and
Awesome.
get it on the big one here. All right, everybody. I still got 14 in the house. It's good to see everybody showing up like this. I'm glad to see my stream is starting to get a little traction here. All right. So what we have on display over here, we've got a couple of parademons. We've got mostly Apocalypse here in the front. Back there, you see Calibax's Boulder Basher, which is Calibax's vehicle, and we'll look at that in a minute. Calibax in there riding it. We've got Steppenwolf and Dark Side back there in the background, and we've got Mantis, and here in the foreground is Decide. So, and I've got some vehicles back there. I have my custom Joker mobile kind of being hid back there in the back. We'll get to that in a minute. That Batcopter in the back, you guys may have seen me show off the one that's going to go to Jim. That one back there on the back is the real deal Batcopter. And then I got my Batmobile here in the front. So I've also got another box of figures down here at the bottom that we may get into today, but I may hold off and do a part 3 of this. It depends on how the stream's running. Hit the like button, folks. Yeah, Will McLaughlin, I appreciate you, man. Gilster 37 has showed up into the chat. Good to see you there, Gilster. Let's see what's going on here in the chat. There's Gilster right there. And Will McLaughlin says, hi, Gilster. Gilster says, hi, everybody. Smash that like button. Are you guys hearing any echo or distortion in my sound? Let me know.
On my end, it sounds good.
Okay, I keep hearing a little distortion in the background. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Kal-El 48 has shown up. Stephen M. Good to see you, Stephen. Glad you showed up today. All right, so let's get started. I do have the accessories that go to some of these figures in the Superpowers case that I have here, and I'm gonna go through some of those real quick because I didn't get to show off the accessories very much the last time, and I'll show some of the ways in which I store them here in the case. So as you well know, the accessories are stored in the Super Armory down here at the bottom, and we have Aquaman's Trident, which it looks like somebody chewed on the bottom of it. You know, I don't have a better one than that. I've got part of Penguin's umbrella here, and I've got the small little, almost like a Tupperware dish that's got all the rest of the stuff in it, and we're going to go through that in just a sec. And down here in the bottom, you can see Green Arrow's bow. Let's see, I'm going to bring it up on the screen here. You can see Green Arrow's bow, and there's another one of Calibax's weapons. The other weapon is located over there on the Boulder Basher, because the Boulder Basher actually has a play function for that. So let me get the camera down here, and let's look at some of these accessories right quick before we start showcasing the figures. And I'm also having some issues with my my provider. So every once in a while, you know, I may kind of get back. Yep. Mary Otwall, thank you, Mary, says, I'm hearing some background noise. just to let you know, Bill. Thank you, Mary. I hear it too on my end, and I'm not sure if it's my microphone doing it or whether I've got something over here picking up the sound. So that may be part of it. I may have to figure out what's going on with that.
That's actually my mom too. That's that's my mother.
Oh, nice to meet you there, Radical Mom. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at the accessories that are in this little tub right here. See if I can get that in there on the screen a little better. All right. So what we have in here, first of all, these are Martian Manhunter's accessories that I made for Martian Manhunter. As we all know, Martian Manhunter is addicted to Oreo cookies. And originally, I think in Justice League, they were going to call them Oreo cookies, but Oreo Nabisco didn't. Well, I don't know if they ever even contacted Nabisco. I think the lawyers at DC just said, "Don't do that," so they called them Chacos. But in my world, they're Oreos, and these accessories are what I made for Martian Manhunter. And this right here is the bottom part of Penguin's umbrella, and the top part just goes in like that so that it can spin. When it spins like that, it can make him fly. And it's also got a play function right here so that the spear can come out of the end of the umbrella so that he can, fight somebody like a sword fight with his umbrella stick.
There's actually a second umbrella that you showed, didn't you? That was similar to that last show.
Yes, that was the Toy Biz umbrella. And if we want to look at that today, everybody just let me know and I will bring it out. Anyway, let me put this off to the side for just a second. All right, the second accessory I'm going to show off here is Green Lantern's lantern, the power battery for Green Lantern. I've got it in a little plastic baggie here so it doesn't get mixed up with everything. The next one is Joker's mallet. This is called the Madcap mallet. It has a Joker face on the front. The handle is its nose. Even has a little ears on the side, and kind of a wood grain effect on it. And the Joker's J is on the end of it. And Joker holds this mallet, and he can hit people over the head with it with his action feature. And it also is hollow on the inside so that he can actually put this over somebody's head and make them have this head on them.
They must have thought of that ahead of time when they were making that. It's a pretty good idea.
They had to have. Yeah. The next is Hawkman's mace. This fits in Hawkman's hand. I actually had, it was two of these that I had, but the other one I had, I ended up making it customized for Motu so that you could have the mace that goes on the second weapons rack that I made for Castle Grayskull. All right, let's see what's next we got in here. We have the Parademon's weapons, and I actually have two of these Parademon weapons in here, one for each Parademon. It's a little pistol that the Parademons have in their hand. And moving right along, I also have the Atom. This is my Atom right here. He's in his small form. This actually came with I think a Total Justice Atom figure, and which I have in the other room. And I usually put a bit of Magician's wax down here on the bottom, and I usually perch this up on Hawkman's shoulder.
Cool.
And let's see what else. Here's that other Parademon weapon. Let's get it off here to the side. Here are Green Arrow's arrows, along with Wonder Woman's lasso. That's the last two items that are in here. So these arrows go with Green Arrow, and they can actually fit into the bow. And there's a removable bowstring on that bow. If y'all need me to pull that out again, I will, and show you how that works. And then there's Wonder Woman's lasso. So I'm gonna load this little tub back up again with all the accessories.
Is that Aquaman's trident that you're picking up?
No, this is the mace. And I will, if you will need to see Aquaman's Trident, I will be more than happy to show it in just a second. As I start loading this little case back up, so I'll make sure that everything fits in here. So I got Madcap Mallet needs to go in there, and then we have this. And the bottom part of Penguin's umbrella, and the Oreo cookies go on the top. And here is Aquaman's Trident. And it's got a little bend in it. I could probably get some cup of hot water and get that bend out of it. But I think a young'un got a hold to the bottom of it down here on the bottom and chewed on it just a little bit. But it's pretty cool. And I'm going to put those all back in the Super Armory.
That seemed like a thing that we all did back in the 80s. I don't know what other people, but I used to chew my toys. I don't know why I did that. It was just such a weird thing, but
Yeah, I used to chew on pencils. That was what I always did. My pencils always looked like a dog.
Yeah.
Got a hold of them. And here's Green Arrow's bow, and as you can see, it's got a bowstring, and that bowstring actually comes off. And this thing is usually lost. This is the first thing a kid would lose, and that's the first thing I lost on my original Green Arrow.
I like that. That's awesome. That's actually pretty flexible. I wish G.I. Joe Classified would have something like that with Storm Shadow.
They learned their lesson on this one when they reused a lot of this stuff to make the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves figures. They made sure that Robin Hood's bow was a little more substantial than this one, and that the bowstring was not removable. But anyway, you can see here on the end, there's a little notch there. If y'all can see that. That's designed to accommodate those arrows. You just pop the little arrow in there, and you can pull it back and make the bowstring, flex back and all that. So there we go.
Yorn in the comments was asking if they reused it in the Robin Hood toy line. Is that true? Is that what that's from?
A lot of, I don't know if you realize this, Adam, but a lot of the Superpowers bucks and molds were reused for Robin Hood Prince of Thieves.
Okay.
Line when that movie came out with Kevin Costner. And the Kevin Costner figure was actually a Green Arrow figure with Kevin Costner's head on it. Of course, it didn't have the knee articulation. They had removed knee articulation at that point. And it even had the G belt buckle on it, believe it or not. And they did use that bow sort of, but they redesigned it so in the arrows as well. So they're a little different. I know a lot of people will use that Robin Hood Prince of Thieves bow for their Green Arrow figure because they don't have the original bow. And yes, Bjorn, they did reuse the indoor playset as Robin Hood's Hideout playset or Sherwood Forest playset. And I'm putting everything back up in its place here in the Super Armory. And I've got everything back in there where it goes in the Super Armory now, so I can put this case away for just a minute. And we'll take a look at the figures. Everybody in the chat, just let me know which figure y'all want to see first. You want me to go ahead and start with Dark Side, or do you want me to start with some of the lesser figures like the Parademon? Just kind of shout me out there.
Yeah.
Looking at the chat, Will McLaughlin says he had some big pins that he gnawed on. And Bjorn asked about that bow. Yes, they did reuse it, but they redesigned it. Masters Maniac said this stream keeps going on a weekly basis. Thank you, Bill, for this beautiful hideout that you created for us. Well, you're welcome. Let's see. They reused the indoor playset. That's correct. Robin Hood was great. All right. And Bjorn says he wants to see Dark Side. Well, Bjorn is the head wrench. He gets to see what he wants to see first. So let's bring Dark Side out to the forefront. And let's see if we can get his eyes to glow for us.
Oh, he's got one of those features where the light reflects down down the head, and then the eyes light up. Right, like that's pretty cool.
And you can take your finger and you can put it over that, and you can make them light up. And that's to do his omega beams. So there you go, folks. You can kind of see that going on there. And he has a removable cape, cloth goods cape. A lot of people don't put the cape on him because Darkseid in the comics never wore that cape. But when Kirby redesigned the Fourth World figures for this line, he added the cape to Darkseid, and that little bit of addition got him some royalties for his work on superpowers. So there's Darkseid. And of course, he has the action feature of rage. So when you put his feet together, he pulls his arms up in rage.
All right, I love the action features. I just love it.
Yeah, that's how the line got its name. It's superpowers. Each figure had its own superpower. Will McLaughlin says, "I still have my childhood Darkseid. My dog chewed his head a bit, so he's battle damaged." That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
All right, so the next figure that we want to get out of the way, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to grab one off the sea. And Will says he can't wait to see the Joker Mobile. Don't worry, that one's coming. I'm going to leave it for a little later on, and we're going to kind of work towards the back there. All right, so nobody's telling me what they want to see, or I'm lagged or something. So I'm just going to start pulling here. We'll start with the Decide figure here. His face is painted. The head is molded in the purple plastic here, and his head is kind of painted in there, and it's kind of that sickly pale color. So Decide kind of always looked kind of nasty in the comics. And he's got these tubes that are running out of his head coming into his chest unit, and those tubes may or may not be removable. Well, I'm not. They are, but I'm not going to get them out. He's holding these power things in his hands here, and you can see that. And it's this is kind of like shoestring material coming around into the back of his backpack. And these tubes here that are coming off the power unit are usually broken off on the figures. They're intact on mine. And his power feature is to bring these things together. Mine doesn't work as well as it should, and I'm not sure whether it's because his little skirt here, which is made out of kind of a flexible plastic material, is in the way of the power feature, or whether the power feature just doesn't work very well. But you can see his arms are kind of wanting to move, but they when it works, they come together like that, like he's bringing these two power units up to a figure's head to give them a shock. Yeah. All right, so that takes care of old Decide. We're going to set him over here to the side. Oh, Mantis fell, so that means he wants to be next. This is Mantis, the power vampire, and his action feature is to move his arms like this right here. And Mantis was completely redesigned by Kirby for the line. This is not what Mantis looked like in the original comics, but if you get the DC miniseries of superpowers that was created at the same time that this line was coming out, you can see that in that miniseries that they do feature this version of Mantis. And next we got Steppenwolf, and a lot of people don't realize that the Steppenwolf figure had a feature on the back to hold his axe. So most of the time you see him displayed with the axe kind of on the ground or in his hand, but there's a little clip back here in the back that the axe can clip into. Let's see if we can get that to show up there. And of course, his feature was to move his axe up and down. It's on his axe hand there. So there's Steppenwolf.
So it seems like most of the action features are usually one arm or two. Is there any in the line that actually have a different action feature besides the arm movement?
Yes, some like Aquaman and Flash move their legs. Aquaman has the deep sea,
Right.
and Flash has the super speed. His little feet kind of do like this when he's running.
Right. I remember you showing that last week. Now that you say that,
And the Parademon, he's got wings, so when you do his power feature, he makes his arms flap like he's flying. And of course, the Parademon was also a complete redesign by Kirby for this line. Parademons looked more human in the original version, Fourth World version of the comics, but when Kirby redesigned him, he made him a lot more demonic. I kind of like this version of the Parademon. And of course, this version of Parademon was also featured on the Superpowers Galactic Guardians cartoons.
yeah,
And Legends of the Superpowers cartoon, Super Friends, the legendary superpowers.
I love the colors. I'm just a sucker for orange. I love that vibrant color.
And we can look around here and see the backside. This little design here that's on the front and the back of him is very Kirby, very much Kirby. That just screams Kirby. Now the Parademon has a very hard time standing up. There, I got him to actually stand. I had him kind of propped on Calabax Boulder Bomber back there earlier, and this second one here is kind of propped on the Batmobile. Now I'm going to start taking some of these figures off the display, and unfortunately, I don't have a real case that'll keep these in yet. I need to buy another one of the plastic cases that I buy to put figures in. I'll give you a kind of a quick look at what I'm talking about. It's these kind of cases like this right here that you can get at Walmart, and you can actually move the dividers around in it to different sizes to accommodate different size figures.
Yeah, Will is saying that he's a sucker for backpacks that have storage. I'm 110% behind him on that. I love that stuff when you can just.
I see Bjorn saying that man, this looks like he's sponsored by John Deere. Yeah, those colors. And Will loves the figure. Let's see, great stuff. First time ever seeing the Parademon. Will says, I'd like to see a video with these guys doing their superpower action figures to music. They kind of look like they're doing goofy dance moves. That's an idea, man. That's really an idea. Me and Adam might get together and put something together for you guys on that. You up for that, Adam?
Absolutely. I'm down for anything that you want to do because this stuff is just awesome. And that's new to me too. I've never seen that character.
Okay. All right, I'm putting everything up in this kind of a cardboard case that a piece of equipment came in at one time, and this is what I store these figures in until I can get a decent plastic case to put them in. And everybody up in their case, and there's one other figure that I'm going to showcase after I get these guys put up. He's over here to the side, and he's also riding in his vehicle over there. I've got an extra one, and that is Calabac, Darkseid's son. You know, Darkseid had two sons. Calabac was his second son, but his firstborn son was Mr. Miracle. And Mr. Miracle was exchanged with Highfather on the planet New Genesis, and what happened was they actually Darkseid's first son was Orion. Let me get this right. I don't want to get this wrong because I'm sitting here telling you guys wrong. Darkseid's first son was Orion, and what happened was, in order to stop the apocalypse war with New Genesis, Darkseid and Highfather made a deal. They would exchange sons. So Darkseid's son Orion went to go live on New Genesis, and Highfather's son, Mr. Miracle, went to go live on Apocalypse, where Darkseid sent him to Granny Goodness's orphanage. where she tortured him, and he learned how to become an escape artist, and that's how he escaped from Apocalypse. And that's why Orion has his issues with rage and temper. But this is Calabac, which is Darkseid's second son, and Calabac is not as smart as Orion and not nearly as smart as Mr. Miracle. And he's always been a disappointment to Darkseid, and so he's always works extra hard to try to make his father respect him, and he always fails at that. And he's very brutish. He's not quite as, and he has his action feature is to move his arm like this so that he can club people with this little club that he has.
That's awesome.
And the club is actually sitting in its little place here on the Boulder Bomber. I'm going to bring it up and I'll show you. It fits right into his hand right here, and he can take that and he can club the other action figures in the head with it. And so that's Calabac. We've got a good look at this Calabac figure, and he's going back into this little case here that I keep them in. I'll place for him right in here, and in he goes. And now they can be put away later when I start taking everything down. So, what are we ready to look at? We're ready to look at Calabac's Boulder Bomber because it has a lot of action features. So
was it ever listed who the mother is? Like, do we know who the mother is? Calaman?
They're Orion and Calabac's. Orion's mother was Tigress. I forget who Calabac's mother was. So Orion and Calabac have two different mothers, but Orion's mother was Tigress.
Okay.
And Tigress was Darkseid kept her imprisoned on Apocalypse. And
is she the orange cat? Is that who Tigress is? Am I thinking of somebody else?
I think you're thinking of maybe a different character that was called Tigress. But the Tigress that I'm talking about, Tigra, excuse me, not Tigress, but Tigra. Her name was Tigra.
Okay.
Yeah, Tigra, and Darkseid kept her in a dungeon, and I think there was a storyline in which Orion went and freed her. And I've got a bunch of mail things coming up here. Go away, all you mail things. There we go. Now, all that email popping in. And what do we got here? Lax Sivrak talking about whipping fart action. And Bjorn says clothesline. And Bjorn says Suli was the mother. I think are you talking about Calabac's mother? Because I know Tigress was Tigra, excuse me. Tigra was around my, and Tigress is a sexy black lady with the afro on the velvet painting. Yeah, in the comics, her name was Tigra. Maybe today later on, or maybe in another live stream, we'll go on the internet and we'll Google her and take a look at what she actually looked like.
Yeah, because I think the person I was thinking of was Tigress Marvel. That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it wasn't that character.
Yeah.
Right. As you can see, the front of the Boulder Bomber has a slot here, and that slot is to accommodate the club that Calabac carries around with him. I'm going to put it over here to the side, and I'm going to take this Calabac out of his seat and put him over to the side so we can take a look at the Boulder Bomber. First of all, the Boulder Bomber has a little skid on the front. It's supposed to point in this direction, and it's got wheels, and these wheels on the bottom here control the front of this vehicle. As you can see, and I'm gonna move it. If I can get it to work. Yeah, this front here has been damaged at some point or another by a child. But as you
is it
move,
supposed to go left and right, or is it just go like
it moves left and right like this right here when you move it across a surface.
Okay.
but this one here doesn't work as well as it should because I think it's been kind of damaged. Every once in a while, it'll get on the track and it'll work like it's supposed to. There we go. It kind of, but as you move the wheel, it's supposed to go back and forth like it's chewing something up. And then it has these little removable quads here on the side, and they just kind of clip on like that. And then we have two missiles here on the front, and there's a trigger back here in the back. And when you pop those, these missiles will shoot. I'm not going to shoot them. They'll go across the room. And here's the boulder of the boulder bomber. It has a little hole in the bottom, and there's a notch here. And this actually comes back like this right here. And there's a button back here in the back, and when you press that, this comes forward and launches the boulder into the air. And then the back side, it's like it's got some jets here on the back of exhaust.
Is that the button release for the action feature? Is it?
Yeah, right here. That's the button for this action feature. And here's the button for launch these missiles out. And Calabac just kind of rides in this, and the front kind of grabs figures and eats them up, and then he can shoot his missiles, and the missiles actually move. You can aim them, and then he can launch his said boulder. And we'll look at the boulder here for a second. Right around here and get it back. There we go. It looks like the sides of the boulder look like they've been reinforced with some steel bands with some rivets in them.
Yeah.
And then there the bottom, and it's hollow. It's kind of a hollow plastic. If I were to squeeze really, really hard, I could probably make this crack or break, or smash in where I wouldn't be able to unsmash it in. So I'm not going to do that. And this fits up here, but it fits kind of precariously on that, so that when you use the action feature, it'll actually launch out. So the way I usually store it is I put Calabac in his little seat, and I just set the boulder in his lap when I store it in the storage closet. And I do not put this on there when I'm storing it either, because this just sits in that slot and it can be easily dropped out, and I don't want to lose it. So I've got a little. I don't know if I brought it, but no, I left it in the closet. I've got another little, like a floss organizer that's got little compartments in it, made out of plastic clear that you can look into. It's got little accessories in it. I just set it in there. And
we got Jim and Pope that dropped in.
Yeah, Pope's hung over today. Yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday, Pope, or happy day after your birthday. We had a big party over there at Ancient Order of Men that lasted 4 hours long. He went 2 hours over his normal limit, but we had a lot of folks in there, and Pope was imbibing of the adult beverages last night to celebrate his birthday. So he says he's hungover, but he really wanted to catch his stream. So I'm glad you showed up, Pope. I'm glad to see you, sir. Mattress Maniac says Will McLaughlin. In Halloween is closing in. There has to be a way to get the Flower Tiger cosplay. And Will said he'd love to see that. And that made Pope laugh. And everybody's wishing Pope a happy birthday. And Lack Sivrak, hey Lack, I didn't catch you when you popped in. I don't think. It's good to see you, sir. Says, did you wake up and shave your tongue? You feel like you got a either cotton mouth or hairy tongue after a night of drinking. And Mattress Maniac says, I'm not Jesus, so I can't grow wheat from my pockets, but I have a tiger that can grow flowers out of thin hair. He's telling me that Lego tiger. All right, and Gilster wishing happy birthday. And Will says, you've been sipping that communion wine, Pope. All right, so let's get Pope's Calabac's boulder bomber out of the way here and put him over here the other table. And so, guys, we're down to 3 vehicles on display. And what do we want to look at first? Rad, Adam, do you want to look at the Batmobile, the Batcopter, Now I'm gonna wait on the Joker Mobile. I'm gonna let it be the last.
I've been eyeballing the Batmobile because it looks like it's loosely based off of the film, or not the film, but the show. That's what it looks like to me. So let's start with that one.
All right, let's talk about that Batmobile. I'm gonna roll him into view. I don't know if you can hear his action feature, the engine sound from the wheels rolling. That Batmobile is based upon the Batmobile that was in the comics at the time, the Bronze Age Batmobile, and it was also loosely based upon the Super Friends Batmobile that was in the Super Friends cartoons, later Super Friends cartoons. So, of course, this Batmobile features the windshield and the back window bubbles like the classic Adam West Batmobile did, the one that was made by Barris. And this Batmobile has several action features, and they actually work fine. As you can hear it when you roll it, you can hear the it's supposed to be the engine sound. And on the back here, you can see the jets that's supposed to be flaming out. And this is one of the few Batmobiles that was ever done by Kenner or any other toy company that featured two seats, one for Batman and one for Robin. Most Batmobiles are one-seaters and only seat Batman. So this is a unique Batmobile as far as toys go, because there are very few Batmobiles, if any at all, that I can recall that had two seats in them, except for this one. But the first action feature that we're going to talk about, and of course there's a kind of a bat shape. Let's look in the cockpit here. A bat shaped steering wheel here that actually turns. I don't think the McFarlane steering wheel turns in the Batwing that he created. But the first action feature is this little deal here, which turns the headlights on. So when you push that up and down, the headlights kind of pop up. You see that?
Okay, I know. Yeah.
Okay. The next action feature is this lever right here, which when you pull it back, the battering ram pops out.
That's really cool because that feature is hidden really well, because you would just think it's just the way that it's designed. I actually like that. It's pretty neat.
And the last action feature is the capture claws that come out of the back. Let me pull it around this way. You can see the capture claw here. And when it pops out, now what happens is it actually pops out like this and then comes together. And if you have a figure standing directly behind the Batmobile, that figure is captured in this capture claw. And now that we've seen that, I want to show you guys a commercial that features the Batmobile. Would you like to see that, Adam?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get down here and we'll show that. So here we go.
Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the battle of the Superpowers Collection. Hark! Batman being called to stop a dastardly deed. New from Kenner's Superpowers Collection, the Batmobile figures with power action sold separately.
Got you, Joker. Don't laugh yet. Release the war. It's a trap. Activate battle ram. Trouble, Batman? Not my Batmobile. Unleash phase 2.
Is this the end of our heroes in the Batmobile? You decide.
So you got to see all the action features featured there in that commercial, and
Yeah,
I love that commercial. It made me want to get a bunch of pasteboard boxes and make a little city for the Batman to play in. And somebody had made it looked like one of the little kids had made a bat signal to flash across the thing.
Yeah.
And that's just a wonderful commercial. That's one of my favorite of the Superpowers commercials that are out there. And there's several of them. And we might be looking at some more of them on some later live streams.
That rear action feature, does it work as well in real time as it did in the commercial? Like, does it actually work pretty good?
Let's find out. Let's get a figure out. And I have a Joker figure that's sitting in his Joker mobile back here in the back. And I'll just pop him out of there. Let me.
The kid in the commercial made it seem so easy. It made it look like it was right easy.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Let's pull old Joker out here. He's got a little clip that holds him in there. I'm gonna show off some of the thing on that, and we'll stand the Joker back here behind the Batmobile, and we'll go ahead and activate the action feature. And it didn't work. All right, so let's see. Maybe we need to pull him back a little bit further. Let's see if we can actually capture him. No.
It totally kicked them off the table.
Yeah, just kicked him off the table. So let me hold him with my hand.
That's so awesome.
I'll try it again. Yeah, what's happening is the capture claw supposed to actually, there's supposed to be something in there that makes it come out, and that little something is not doing its job. So it's not opening up like it should. I may have to open this Batmobile up and see what's going on with the action feature.
I wonder how many takes it took for that kid to get that right.
Well, I don't know. However, let me do this real quick, Adam. Let me take a break.
Sure.
And I'm going to run into the next room, and I'm going to grab another Batmobile. And this is the Batmobile that I had as a kid. And I'm going to play some commercials, and everybody kind of watch the commercials while I run off. So let's go to these messages.
Sounds good.
And now these messages. Who's the big guy with the muscles?
He's He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Skeletor is his enemy.
If He-Man, Skeletor, and Castle Grayskull, you have to put the castle together.
You're doomed, He-Man.
Oh, yeah? Watch this action, Dad. Now I have the power.
He-Man and Skeletor each sold separately. Castle Grayskull also sold separately from the Masters of the Universe collection from Mattel.
As evening approaches Toothopolis, so do the cavity creeps.
Oh, no! Cavity creeps!
Hurry, the crest's up.
Cavity creeps spotted.
We make holes in teeth.
Christmas Florist can will fix them.
Not crest!
Yay! Crest!
Watch treats,
See your dentist.
and fight the cavity creeps like the Crest team.
Fight cavities with Crest.
All right, welcome back, folks. All right, so I have a new Batmobile here on display. Actually, it's not a new Batmobile. This is my toy that I had as a child. Okay, and it's a little worse for the wear. It's a little dirtier and a little more scuffed up than the one that I have back here. And this one that I have back here, I actually had to repair some of the interior mechanisms in it. And there's videos out there on YouTube of YouTubers showing you how to do those repairs. And I may take one apart one day on a live stream or in a video and let you guys see some of those. But the first thing I want to show you is one of the things that I did was I drilled those holes in the body here so that I could take one of Batman's accessories and attach it here so that it could launch a missile. And I actually took that off when I found this Batmobile. And the other thing I did was, as a kid, I always hated that ratcheting sound that it made when it was moving. So I got in there and I took that little piece of plastic out that made that sound. So this one doesn't make that sound anymore. So it's kind of a little damaged, but the rest of the action features work. The headlights come on and off, and they come on and off a whole lot better than that Batmobile over there, the one that looks better than this one. The front action feature, it still works, the battering ram. And let's take a look at the back action feature and see how that works out. There it goes. So it does a little bit better, I think, than the other one. Let's see what happens when we put the Joker here, and let's see if we can capture him first without me touching him. And if that doesn't work, then I'll hold him down. Here we go. Yep, that didn't work either. So we'll try to hold him and see if
It
that's
just seems to want to shoot out rather than
yeah.
full
What happens is when it shoots out, this is supposed to open like this and then come back
right.
together. And I don't know. There may be a piece of plastic that's missing in there. It's supposed to do that.
It showed it as you're describing it in the commercial. That's exactly what happens. It goes into like a spoon.
It's supposed to, when it shoots out, it's supposed to open up. So, and this one here is just not doing that. Yeah, it's not doing it either. So, whatever's supposed to make this open and close is not working on either one of these Batmobiles. So, I was really hoping for it to show the action feature working. So. That's not working out today. It's live, anything can happen. So the action feature on my Batmobile is not working like I want it to, and I may have to do a repair to see what's going on with that, because it's supposed to open up like that and then come back together as it shoots out and grab the figure. So that
do you recall doing that when doing it that way when you were a kid, or?
Yes, I recall it working just perfectly fine.
Okay.
So we need to figure out what's going on with these Batmobiles, but that's something for another day. So I'm going to put the Joker over here next to the Joker mobile and take these Batmobiles off of display and put them aside. And we'll take a look at the Batcopter real quick. Like I said, this is not the Batcopter that I have set aside for Jim, which is back over here in the big toy box.
I guess Lack says he's got a channel too, and Will is saying check out Lack. So I'm definitely going to do that after the show. I'll check out.
Yeah, I think I'm already subscribed to Lack Sivrak. He does have a channel, and anyway,
Okay.
here's Jim's Batcopter. As you can see, it's got the black canopy on it because it was actually a Dark Knight Batcopter that's been
Okay.
and the paint job on this is blue, but it's a little different blue, and it's also kind of got this metallic flake in it. So this Batcopter here is as Jim says, it's badass, and he thinks it's even better than the original Batcopter, which I have over here. And,
is it the exact same sculpt? Is it the exact same?
The exact same mold. They reuse molds quite a bit because molds cost quite a bit of money to make.
Yep. It's the same with Masters. Yep.
Yeah,
I get it.
So anytime that they can repurpose some molds, they will, to get their money's worth out of it. Okay, so on the front, we have this launching feature on the front that launches the front part out as a kind of a grappling hook. And on the side, you see that there's a little knob that you can turn, and that knob retracts that string back into the body of the Batcopter, and then the front just snaps into place like that, and you get the string retracted. And it's got two skids on the bottom, as you can see, and this part here rotates the blades. Can you see that?
Yep.
And this little knob down here at the bottom, this little black knob. And as you can see in the bottom of that black knob, there's this little bit here. That's to capture a villain. So usually you capture them by their hand. So the hand just kind of goes up in that, and then you've got the villain captured with the Batcopter.
That's the softer plastic for that, isn't it? Like
yes, it is. It's very soft plastic and kind of almost rubber-like.
Yeah.
And the Supermobile, the Superpower Supermobile, also featured that feature in its wings, so you could capture a villain like that. And put Joker back over here for a minute. This is an older Joker, and he's got a removable arm that it shouldn't be removable like that. So that's the one that I have riding in the Joker mobile. He's the other Joker. The really, really nice one is in the other case. I featured it last week on part 1 of this.
Right.
And here's the blades. The blades are very, very delicate, and they snap into this upper unit here, and they're really not meant to be removed. but with a little bit of effort, you can remove them so you can put it back in its box. And I do have the box for this, but it's stored away right now, and I didn't feel like digging it out because I'd have to go way back in there to get it. But here's the canopy, and it's that yellow orange color, just like the Batmobile's canopies.
Yeah, even this, it looks like the same trend that McFarlane's doing. It's
McFarlane's trying to he's trying to get the member berries and the feels in us old collectors, and it makes us want to get it. And the color scheme on this is going to match that bat wing as well. And then I don't know if you can see this. Here's the interior cockpit. It's got stickers in there for the controls. And
so do you think they'll re-release these again? Do you think McFarlane might be able to...
McFarlane will not. He will not re-release these vehicles ever. I doubt it. And
Okay.
it's a bat symbol right here, kind of molded into the plastic. You can see there on the front. Can you see that, Adam? Does that show
Yeah,
up?
I see it perfectly fine. You can see the rivets on it too, the lines.
Yeah, there we go. And so there's the Batcopter. The Batcopter from the Superpowers line, that particular Batcopter is very rare. Well, I won't say rare. Unusual, hard to find. And it usually commands a lot of money in good shape, even unboxed on the big auction site.
Right.
So most people will opt to get the Dark Knight Batcopter and either just leave it black or repurpose it with a paint job and resticker it so that it matches the Superpowers Batcopter. And according to sources that I know and trust very well, that canopy, there is a guy that makes replacement canopies for it.
Right.
So you can take the smoked black canopy off of a Dark Knight Batcopter and replace it with with a version that looks more like this.
How fragile are those helicopter blades? Because Will was mentioning it, and I'm curious about it.
They're very fragile. Okay, and here's what happens: most people store it like this, like I have on display here. Okay, most people store it just like that, and what happens is over time, they begin to droop like this. Okay.
Do they come out? Do they come out, or are they molded?
They do come out of there. I was saying that earlier. They clip into that this upper unit up here,
Okay.
and they're not meant to ever be removed once they're clipped back in. But I know for a fact that with a little bit of effort, gently, you can get them out so you can put it back in its box. But I haven't ever done that with this because once I've clipped them in there, I kind of want to leave them in there.
Fair
Now
enough.
with Jim's, I'll probably try to ease his out so that they're not in there as they go in the post to go to him, because I know that if I leave them on there, that the way they handle those boxes, it will probably get broken, and I don't want that to happen. And we all know what happens when you write fragile on the outside of a box and send it through the post. They play football with it at that point, because when they see fragile on it, they go ha 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 ha, and they play with it like that. So, but anyway, yeah, when in storage, these tend to get a droop to them. So
Right.
what I do with mine is I have the way it sits in the closet. There's other items around it that kind of support these inside there, so that it doesn't catch that droop. And you're going to get a little bit of that no matter what, even though they're very, very light. Over time, they just tend to get a little droopy.
So brand new out of the box, are they literally straight?
They are, and once you put them on the Batcopter, they'll get a little bit of a bend in them, even after you first put them on there. However, have you ever seen a real helicopter and look at the blades when they're not spinning? They do droop just slightly.
Yep, that makes sense. Yep.
So I don't worry too much about that, but I don't want them to curve completely down like I have seen some examples of this piece in people's collections. So I kind of like to take care of my Batcopter like that. All right, so The next vehicle we're going to look at is the one that everybody's been wanting me to show off, and I think I've showed this off before. I'm going to bring him up to the front. This is a repaint of the Shadows car from the Shadow line. And I actually have another one in there that hasn't been repainted that I still have a Shadow figure in. And I actually have the box that it came in. But I just repainted this, and Javier Garcia, I think, was the one who did this. No, or it might have been another customizer that did his like this. Now he removed this piece here off the back. This is the this slides forward and clips shut.
Oh, that's cool.
And when you do that, you can bring this part out like this. And you can put these little deals on display back here in the back. I guess those are supposed to be jet engines or something like that. And
awesome.
On the version of this that I saw that spurred me to make my own custom, he painted these with more jokery kind of colors with yellow and red and green. But I never did that with this one. I kind of left it like it is. And of course they fold up like this, and this pushes back down like that. And then this opens back up like this right here. On the back, I have a custom license plate that says "Ha Ha." I painted that myself.
What was originally there?
I can't remember if it was just blank or whether it had something Shadow related on it. But I painted, when I painted the model with this purple color, I kind of painted that away. And I always said, when I painted this one, it's not painted the color of the original customizer's version. He painted his more of a burgundy color to try to match the color that was on the prototype for the Joker mobile that you see in the mini comic that came with the Joker.
Okay.
It featured the Joker mobile. And the front piece here came from the Kenner Joker cycle that came out later. I think it was either the Dark Knight line. I think the Dark Knight line had a Joker cycle, and it had this piece here, which actually shot off of it. And so I kind of repurposed this to make the front emblem. And there's a missile that shoots out of the front of the Shadow vehicle. And I used that missile along with this head to actually make it pop out like that. So it will shoot out. And of course, I took that missile and hot glued it right into.
Oh, I see what you did. That's cool.
And so it just kind of clips right here into the front like that.
So that Joker face that doesn't originally come with the car. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
No, this, like I said, this is from they made a movie with Alec Baldwin about the Shadow.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
You know, the Shadow knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. What the other one was, the weed of crime or something. You know what the Shadow always said. The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. This car was the Shadow's vehicle from that movie, and they made a little line of vehicles and figures to go with that. And this, on the interior of the vehicle, there's another slight modification. There's a seat in there from a GI Joe helicopter. I can't remember what the name of that was, but they're easy to find on eBay. Really, really cheap. And a lot of times that seat, you can buy it by itself for just a few bucks. And,
right.
I had to.
So was it just originally without a seat in it? Was it just the black?
No, there's a seat. There's a seat in there that just molded into this black back here. That's the seat basically.
Okay. Okay.
That seat is for a larger figure. The Shadow figures are just slightly larger scale than Superpowers and a little bulkier. But the reason that seat's added in, and the original customizer did the same thing, although he left his seat intact, I shaved the top off of mine so that so that this would close. Otherwise, it won't close with the seat intact, as it was from the GI Joe vehicle. And the original customizer didn't even have this piece on his. He just kept the back part opened out without this on it. But the reason for that seat is because there's a clip. Can you see that clip there inside the seat?
Oh, you mean the black clip that holds them over around the waist, you mean?
That's it. And that
Yeah.
holds the figure in there so that he doesn't rattle around inside the vehicle.
Right.
So, and of course, you have to take the coattails off of the Joker to fit him in the vehicle. I've got those coattails stored in a different container. Anyway, he just goes in there, and then you have to clip him into the clip, and the clip keeps him from falling out and rattling around inside the vehicle.
Yeah. These old vehicles are so cool. They remind me of Mask, if you're familiar with that franchise.
Yes,
with
I do.
That's what this reminds me of.
Mm-hmm. So there we go. There's the Joker mobile. So anybody want to see any of the pieces that I've shown off so far? Again, just let me know. Will McLaughlin says, "Well done, Bill." Bjorn says, "Great custom." Will McLaughlin says, "Better than the purple Dodge Dart from the '89 movie." I agree with that. Christian Homburg, Bill, that car is awesome. Will McLaughlin says, "Although I would like that car as well." Lax Sivrak says, my dad was born in 1947, and he always says the shadow knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. That is correct. The Dragonfly helicopter, Bjorn, you're absolutely right. It wasn't the Tomahawk, but it was the Dragonfly helicopter, yes. And of course, Masters Maniac speaking German. Will, I love that shadow. Love that saying, yeah. And Lick Savrak, gotta love the old school heroes line like Shadow, Phantom, Dick Tracy. That's correct, man. Bjorn, I like the old comic strip heroes like Dick Tracy and the Shadow. Like Sivrak, that car is supposed to be a Mercedes or BMW or a Rolls. I don't know. I'm not familiar with what it's supposed to be based off of. It's just a big, powerful roadster. Let's see. Lick says from 1919 to say 1927, they really made the coolest cars. That's correct. And that kind of gets me caught up in the chat there. And I will take these vehicles off display and put them off to the side somewhere where they won't get harmed. And we're going to pull out some more figures if you guys are up for it. Find a good place for that back capture with you. Be safe. There we go. All right, are we ready, Adam?
Yeah, sounds good.
Here we go. First of all, I'll show you the case that they're stored in. Like I said, these compartments, you can kind of move them around. So I'm going to start with my favorite figure from the Superpowers line that just is absolutely the best. And that is Captain Marvel. Here's the Captain Marvel figure. Let's see if we can get him in here. Let's move that light around a little bit so we can see his face. Very reminiscent of the way he was drawn in the '70s comics when the character was revived by DC Comics.
Looks like a cloth cape.
It is. This is called a caplet. It's a small cape that kind of droops over his shoulders. And it's actually got the little flower designs that the character had on his cape in the comics. And the top kind of goes through, and you got this kind of a rope deal that goes around his neck that holds it on. And his superpower feature is basically, you squeeze his legs and he moves his arms like he's fighting. He's got his little pirate boots on that are yellow, and I don't know if you can see it, but they actually have the little dotted seams inside there like they showed in the comics.
Yeah, I see it.
He's got his bracelets on, and he's got his powerful thunderbolt symbol on his chest. Because as we all know, when Billy Batson says Shazam, the magic thunderbolt comes down and turns him into Captain Marvel. And that's Captain Marvel. Like I said, he's one of my favorites. And usually when you find this figure, the caplet is always missing. And that little rope deal that holds the caplet on it is very delicate.
Yep.
So next figure that we're going to look at is going to be Orion, which is Darkseid's son who went to go live on Eugenesis with Highfather.
Okay, so that's the other son.
Yeah, this is Darkseid's son. And his action features actually go from his normal face to his rage face. And it's very reminiscent of Manny Faces.
I was just going to say Manny Faces.
Yeah, very reminiscent of Manny Faces. And, of course, in the comics, he never wore this weird helmet that you see him wearing here. But when Kirby redesigned the character and they made this to accommodate the action feature. So when you hit his legs, or it's either his legs or his arms, I can't remember. Okay, when you do his legs, it makes him do this. But there's also, I think when you hit them, yeah, it makes his face move so that he goes over to his rage face. Okay. Cool. And the New Genesis characters carry a sentient computer box around with them called the Mother Box. And it's about the size of a cell phone, and it's got big little blinky lights on the front, and it always goes bing, 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 bing. And it does two things. It's like a computer for them. And it also opens up what's called a boom cube, which allows them to travel from Apocalypse or New Genesis to Earth and back, or to other places. But Orion's Mother Box helps him to keep his rage in check and helps him to disguise his face so that he doesn't look angry all the time. And I store the figure with Rage Face on because Rage Face doesn't tax the spring too much in there, and the mechanism that holds it in place when you turn it around. But the design on this figure is just weird because, like I said, in the comics, he never ever looked like this, and he usually rode around on this kind of a sled-looking device that kind of attached to his feet and his arms, and had tubes coming all out of it, and rocket engines on it, and that he kind of traveled through space on that. And that device was never included with the Superpowers figure.
Oh, so is his color scheme correct though? Like, is
yes. The Orion's costume or his armor or whatever it was he was wearing was a yellow, a red and blue, and maybe had some silver highlights in it because his helmet was silver, and he wore this silver helmet on his head, and he would take it off and put it on occasionally. Christian Homburg says Captain Marvel is cooler than Superman. I agree with you on that one. Mattress Maniac says German stormtroopers have come to invade your stream. Sorry, only entertaining the guests. Okay. I guess we'll go with a Batman villain here, and that would be Mr. Freeze. And this is the Superpowers Mr. Freeze. And this mold was sort of reused for the DC Heroes Toy Biz line for their version of Mr. Freeze, but you can always tell because these little supposed to be tubes coming out of his back here going into his legs are not on that Toy Biz figure, but they are on the Superpowers figure.
They look like they're made out of like lace, like shoelace.
Yeah, they are like shoestring lace. That's correct. Okay, yeah. And his helmet's removable. Nice. This is usually lost and not found on the figure. And of course, his head is articulated there. And when you squeeze his legs together, his arms move, but in the front you see these two little red deals. They pulsate in and out while you
yeah.
And those are supposed to be his freeze ray guns. So they're shooting freeze rays when you're doing the superpower feature.
Gotcha. And Bruiser dropped in. Thanks for dropping into the stream.
I appreciate you coming in, Bruiser Brawler. I saw where you had watched the toy hunt earlier. So who do we want to look at next? I kind of want to leave Mr. Miracle there for a little later. Let's look at Cyclotron, and let's talk about Cyclotron because Cyclotron is weird. Cyclotron was created just for the Superpowers line. He never really featured in any of the real DC comics, although I think he did show up in the third Superpowers miniseries that they did, the one that Kirby was not involved with. But his faceplate comes off to reveal that he is actually a robot.
Okay, cool.
And I think his backstory is that he was a robot that was created by Superman to help the Superpowers team.
So that would be considered his action feature, right? Like he doesn't have the moving arms or anything.
I don't think that's really his action feature, really, because his arms move, his legs articulate, his knees move.
Okay, yeah.
But the head doesn't move. The head doesn't move at all, and he has the removable faceplate to reveal his true nature underneath there.
I wonder if is that a common piece that would be missing too?
Yes, it is, and I think that there are people who make replacements for that. And that's Cyclotron. Now I'm looking to see where Golden Pharaoh is, and I know I have a Golden Pharaoh figure, and I think he's in another case that's somewhere else right now. And if we continue on today, I may go ahead and show him off today, but maybe not. The next figure that I do want to show off is Samurai.
Oh, cool.
And
cloth goods.
Yes, he's got a cloth goods shirt on, and his superpower is to make his legs turn like a tornado. You see that?
Yeah.
Because in the old cartoon show, he would say his magic word, which I can't pronounce. Kadamano Muhayaku, I think is how it was pronounced. And he would turn into a whirling tornado with just his head visible. So that kind of reminiscent of that superpower he is. Next in line today, we're going to look at Plastic Man. It's probably appropriately enough, probably one of the goofiest action figures that was ever created for this line. I know my buddy Grindhead Jim kind of hates this action figure. So his action feature, if I can figure out I remember how it works, is his head kind of pops up. I can't remember how to do it. It does move back and forth. Remember how to make that head pop up. Oh, it's one of the arms does it.
Must be a way to trigger it somehow.
There it is, right there. That arm kind of brings it up, but let's see if we can get it to go.
Does it go very far, or is it just like a little bit?
It's supposed to pop up a little higher than what it is. It's been a while since I've done this. I can figure out.
So his chest must be hollow then.
Yeah, his chest is hollow to accommodate this feature.
Yeah. He must be very light.
No, he's actually got a bit of a heft to him. He's taller than all the rest of the action figures because he's kind of stretching his torso out. So as you can see, he's very much taller than the other. Can you see that? There we go.
Yeah.
See how he's so much taller than everybody? It's because he's stretched. He's stretching his torso and his legs. And his legs have this very plasticky feel to them. They're his feet doesn't have any toes or anything on them, just like he did in the comic. But see if we can get that head to go up. I can't remember how that worked. It was like and that may be about as far as it goes, but this is probably the goofiest action figure in the line. And of course, that's appropriate because Plastic Man's probably one of the goofiest characters in DC Comics.
He looks it.
Yeah, and next we're going to look at Tyr. Tyr was never a villain for the modern heroes. He was a villain from the far, far future. There was a villain for the League of Superheroes, which was another comic that was set in the 30th century. But he had this arm, and of course there we go. And that kind of made a very nice little action feature for the figure. So there it went. Did you?
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah.
Let me put it back in, and then so when you hold his arm up like that, it kind of shoots off. Did you see it?
No, actually, I had a little bit of lag going on there, so I missed it.
I'm gonna try it again. All right, one more time. Let's see if I can do this on camera and not lose the thing. When you push this up, the missile will shoot off of his hand. There it went. Did you see it?
Yeah, I caught it that time.
Yeah, it fell on the floor. Here we go. And that's his action feature. And that's the only action feature the figure has. Of course, he's articulated. His arms move, his legs move, and they all have a different color neck. The orange neck, red head, red arms. That neck is supposed to be orange. So it's not that the figure has faded any. That's just actually the way it was.
It looks like it might have actually been, because I know Masters of the Universe does this, where they painted the neck, but it's like maybe it was originally black or yellow and they just painted over it. Is that possible?
I think you may be correct, but I think the actual character had this color scheme. So
okay,
it's kind of accurate. He's got an orange neck and a red head and red upper arm and red upper legs. So
his head's not removable, right? Like they don't have removable heads, right?
no, they don't. You have to do the boil and pop method, and you have to be very, very careful when you remove them, because it's kind of got this spike coming out and this bulb on it that holds it on, and all of that's so easily broken when you're doing that. When I used that Joker figure to make Alfred, I actually broke that, getting the Joker head off. And what I ended up doing is something that it's done a lot in customization. Is I actually put a peg in his head and pegged his head. I drilled out the place and put a peg in there and set it so that it just pegs into that hole. So
right.
You can take his head on and off if you want to, real easily. And that's not a problem, because that's a custom figure. It's not designed to be played with. It's designed to be looked at and viewed.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, I forgot to show off Samurai's lightning sword. Samurai comes with the lightning sword accessory. Let's see if we can see that better.
Yeah.
And that kind of just fits in his hand. He's got kind of a circle there that it just pegs into.
A lot of the parts look like they'd be easy to lose. Like a lot of these,
very much so. Finding these figures intact with their accessory with them is so hard that usually people try to go for a carded version, just so they know that the accessory's there. But
right.
Then if you get a carded version, you want to get a beat up carded version, because you know you're going to take it off the card to play with it or to display it. Because if you find one that's mint on card, we know we all want to put that on display, mint on card, and keep it mint. And lastly, in this little group here, I've got Mr. Miracle. Scott Free is his real name. Scott Free, as in escape scot-free. And Scott Free was actually Highfather's real son, and he was exchanged for Orion to stop the war between Genesis and Apocalypse. Basically, an exchange of hostages, which happened a lot back in the Middle Ages in warfare.
Cool.
And he has a little clip here that holds his cape on, and he's got this green cape that he wears, which he wore in the comics, and that's usually lost and not there when you find these figures. And we'll look at his face. His face doesn't have a lot of paint features on it. His eyes are white, but in the comics, his eyes have black around them so that you can see them better. And
Okay.
His
Like a
mouth,
black outline.
there's a lot more detail in the comic on his face than there is in the figure, but that's just the way it is. And what he comes with is an escape. So he's an escape artist. So that's what he does. So he has this device here that basically he's put into, and you put the cuffs on his wrists. If I can get it to work, put the cuffs on his wrist. There we go. And now he's cuffed up, and it's time for him to escape. And so his action feature is, if I can make it work, it's kind of hard, is to get him to escape. And I may have it on upside down. All right, let me see here. Get his arms up and in place. So make it work. There we go.
Okay, I was gonna ask if his hands are supposed to pull out.
Yeah, his hands pull out, and there's something that rotates this device here, so that let's see here. He is. See if I got this on upside down. I may have that on upside down. No, I had it on right. Okay.
Is the cuff supposed to actually spin? Is that what you're getting at?
It spins a little bit, and when it spins, his arms escape out of it. This is another mostly lost item is his escape cuffs. So when you press his legs together, his arms come up. You see that?
Yeah.
And he escapes from the cuffs. So we finally got him to work right. And of course, these figures are old, and the action features do not work as well as they did originally when they came. A lot of times the action features actually broken inside the figure. And of course, you can't pop these figures open. There's no there's like G.I. Joe, there's no screw in the back like G.I. Joe so that you can get them open. They're actually fuse welded together. So there are ways of opening them up, but I'm not going to do that.
That's fair. We get the idea, though. That's pretty cool.
And that takes care of that. Okay, I see where Golden Pharaoh is. I actually have him in here. I have another case of action figures here that are not exactly superpowers, but Golden Pharaoh wound up in it because this case. Oh, there's a figure in here I haven't shown yet. I'm saving him for last. Okay. So we're going to look at this extra figure here in just a minute that I didn't show off in this case, and there's a reason for that. So here we're going to bring out this case here. And this case here mostly holds action figures from the Batman cartoon series that Bruce Timm did. And of course, I've got Robin and Batman and Joker and Riddler and Penguin and Catwoman in there.
Yeah.
And I've got some accessories, and I've also got the Bruce Wayne Batman figure from one of the Batman movies is up there at the top. He has the removable costume.
That's the Batman I used to have. He's got the retractable belt, right?
No, I know the one you're talking about. The one you're talking about is the Toy Biz Batman figure. No, this Batman figure.
Yeah.
This Batman figure is actually a Batman from a Batman movie that Kenner did.
Okay.
And he has a removable cowl. Get that off of his head here. It's on there pretty tight. There we go. And you see there's Bruce Wayne underneath, and you unclip this, and you can take this off, and the gloves come off and the boots come off. And I'm not taking all that apart, but I just wanted to show you that this is actually a Bruce Wayne figure, and it actually kind of resembles Keaton in the face. So.
Yeah, the one I was thinking was the Toy Biz one because I remember they had a Batmobile, I believe, from the '80s as well that went along with that toy line.
Yeah, and Kenner actually, I don't know if they were disgusted by the toy line or not, but when they immediately went and got the toy license back from DC Comics and got it away from Toy Biz within the first year of Toy Biz doing all that. And they released the Dark Knight line, and they did a re-release of Batmobile that was a whole different sculpt that looks more like the movie. They did a Batwing as well that looked a lot better than the Batwing that Toy Biz had done. But anyway, I found this figure amongst some of my toys that were in storage, and I just put him together and put him in this box because I needed a place to store him. And I've got some accessories over here in plastic bags. But who do we want to look at is Golden Pharaoh, another character that was created just for this line. I don't know what's causing that distortion in my voice. I'm not sure whether it's my microphone or what, but it's really bothering me. Do you hear that, Adam?
That's the strangest thing because I don't really hear it on my end.
Okay.
But some people in the chat are saying that they hear it, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I don't hear it.
It's always something with these live streams. You can't have a live stream without something going wrong. All right, I'm going to try to put this staff in his hand. His hand is not very flexible, and I don't want to break his thumb. There we go. Now, his staff is in his hand, and what is his action feature? His action feature, it doesn't work very well, is that his arms, they snap down, and when you move his legs, they're supposed to pop up like this.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have his action features not working like I would like it to. And there.
Is his chest translucent? Because it looks like it's semi-translucent.
Yes, it is. His chest is translucent. You can shine a light through it. I don't know if I've got a light that I can actually show it shining through it. Let's try this. Yeah, you can kind of see it there.
I can see it. Yeah, it looks cool. I like that.
And the little collar back here in the back is also translucent plastic. You see my finger behind it.
Yep.
Yeah, this character was not an actual DC Comics character. He was created for this line, and this was in the last wave of figures. Anyway, he lives in this special compartment that's kind of big to accommodate him in this particular case right here. So that takes care of Golden Pharaoh. Now, who did we save for last? I'm going to show you who we saved for last. And he's in this other case that I had out just a minute ago, and he's in bubble wrap. And there's a reason for that, too. This was one of the last figures that was released in the line, and it's probably the most expensive figure in this line.
That's going to be a trend with a lot of toy franchises back in the day because a lot of people didn't get a lot of the toys, like, say, Masters of the Universe. The last characters in the wave are the ones that are sought out after, like Scareglow is one of the ones. It seems like it'd be a trend across all toy lines.
It is, and for several reasons. First of all, as the last figure in the line, not as many were produced.
Right.
Not as many were actually wound up in the hands of children or people buying the figures. And so here he is, everybody, in all of his glory, is Cyborg.
Cyborg.
And let's see if I can get him to stand on his own. There he goes. He's back metallized. The whole figure is back metallized. So the skin parts that you see are actually painted onto the figure. And there are foreign versions of this figure that command even more money than this figure does, where it's also back metallized, but not as much of him is been painted. Maybe only his face and the rest of his body is just totally silver without any of the highlights painted onto it. Skin.
Can you throw him up to the camera so we can see him up closer? There we. Okay, cool.
And on his back are two clips that hold his extra weapons that go into his hand.
Okay.
Those are always lost. So a complete figure like this commands a lot of money. How much money? This figure here is worth over $900 right now.
Oh, man.
And this is uncarded. A carded, mint on card version of this would cost well over $1,000. Well over $1,000. This figure here is the most expensive figure in my entire collection. It's a treasure. It's to be kept in bubble wrap. It doesn't come out very often. This is one of the first times this figure's been out in over 3 years. It took me a lot of time to save up enough money to buy this figure. I felt like I was taken to the cleaners buying this figure.
I can imagine, yeah.
I spent close to $800 buying this figure. Now, I was told I was getting a deal because any other figures that I saw were well over $900, and most of them did not have all of their accessories.
Right.
And here are the accessories, and he's got a removable. Here's this hand comes out, and you've got two accessories that clip onto his back. Here's the clips that hold him. Those clips are always broken, so it's very, very hard to find. This is kind of a drill of some sort. The clips in there. You see that. And this is supposed to be a magnet weapon or magnet claw. Right? It depends on how. It can either be a claw or a magnet. I always pretended it was a magnet.
So three accessories plus the, what is it, the jetpack? Is it, what's on the back of them again?
Just clips to hold his extra.
Oh, it's just a clips to hold the accessories. Okay, I got you.
Like I said, those clips are always broken. Always. Yeah.
Okay.
This figure is in pretty good shape. He's kind of loose. His arms are loose, but they were like that originally. Okay. And when he came out of the box, and his action feature is that he moves his arms like that. And his action feature actually works very good.
Right.
This old. And when you bought him, he came out of his package with the fist arm on, and these other two arms were I think in the package somewhere, but you just kind of clip them in their little clips back here for storage, and they clip right on.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, this is one of my treasures, folks. This figure here is nigh impossible to find. There are people who make reproductions of this figure. You can buy a reproduction of this figure for a whole lot less than the actual figure now, but it's not this figure. It's a reproduction. Right.
It's not authentic.
And I don't think the reproductions are back metallized either. This is back metallized.
Did they ever do mail away figures in that line?
They did. And the Steppenwolf figure that you saw earlier today,
yeah,
I actually saved the little parts off of my figures as a child and mailed away and got him. He came in a little plastic Kenner bag. He did not have a card. He did
Okay.
not have a bio card with him. It was just a figure inside of the mailer when I got him.
You would think the mailer away ones would be the more harder ones or the more expensive ones.
No,
You-
they're not. They were pretty common, except for Clark Kent. The mail away Steppenwolf figure was actually released later on in the line.
Okay,
on
that
card.
explains it.
Now the Clark Kent figure was a mail away figure, and he's a little rare. Now I keep using the word rare. I need to quit. He's unusual to find. He's not particularly rare. You can find plenty of them out there because people got him.
Right.
Usually, though, he's a little beat up and worse for the wear. His hair may have some scuffs on it where you see the skin tone plastic underneath it, where the paint's rubbed away on his hair, or he's got gripping hands, so his thumb will be broken off on some of them, or his action feature will be so loose or unworking. But Clark Kent figures can be had, and a good one can still be had for a little over $50. If you find somebody that's giving you a pretty good deal, you shouldn't pay more than $100 for one, and I wouldn't pay more than $60 for a Clark Kent figure. But Clark Kent was the first mail away figure in the line, and I think Steppenwolf was the second.
Okay. So did they for the mail away? How did that work? I'm just curious. Were they
You had to buy like two or three figures, I forget, but you had to clip off the proof of purchase and send a copy of your receipt.
Okay. That's what I was wondering if it was proof of purchase, kind of like
kind of like the flag points on GI Joe.
right.
The superpowers figures had proofs of purchase on the back of them. And a lot of times when you see the carded figures for sale, you'll see that the proof of purchase has been cut out because somebody cut that proof of purchase out to send off for a mail away.
Right. Yeah.
And but anyway, yeah, they had two mail away figures. So that was the Steppenwolf and Clark Kent, and what you got them in a little small box, a little mailer box. It was about this big, white, and you open it up inside, and there'd be a plastic Kenner bag in with the figure in it. And I've seen the Clark Kent figure for sale with the mailer box, and that commands just slightly a little bit more money than a loose one.
Right.
But as far as I'm concerned, it isn't worth my time or my effort. Your mileage may vary, but it's not worth my time or effort to find such a thing. I just wanted Clark Kent. That's all I needed. He didn't have any accessories with him, so I made my own. He carries a newspaper around him. I've seen people put like a satchel or a briefcase in his hand to carry. And I forget what action figure line that came from, but you can find those on eBay for next to nothing if you want to add that to your Clark Kent figure. All right, so that's every figure in the Superpowers line that I have shown between this episode and the last. You've pretty much seen my vehicles. If I do Superpowers on the next show, it probably will be more than just Superpowers because I have very little else in the collection to show off except for maybe some accessories. Now, there's one other figure that I haven't showed you today. Do you remember the Fisher Price line called Adventure People?
I don't actually.
Yeah. The Adventure People came out right before Kenner got the license from Lucas to do Star Wars.
Okay.
And they were 3 1/4 inch action figures, a little bit smaller than Superpowers.
So this would have had to have been 82, 83 then, because
this is more closer to 78, 79, 77. See, Star Wars came out in 1977, so we're talking 73, 74, 75. But the Adventure People included just regular action figures that were doing different things. Like there were deep sea divers, skin divers. There was people going camping, and that would include like a Jeep and a tent and a kayak. And I think you had a bearded man with a red sweater on, and he had his friend who was a Native American. I still call him Indian. He was an Indian. Okay.
Yeah.
So and they went on adventures. You know, the deep sea diver would go down and find a chest of gold, and then there would be an octopus that would guard that chest of gold, and there was an airplane pilot with a little airplane that he could fit into, and these figures were actually used by Kenner when they were pitching the Star Wars line to make the prototype figures for Star Wars, and you can see examples of those online if you search for them.
Right.
But I have a figure here that was in an Adventure People line of reporters that included a reporter's van with a movie camera or a TV camera in it, and it included a TV operator and another reporter. She was an African American black lady with an afro, and she was the reporter, and she had a little dress on. And this fellow here was with the line, but he looks just like Neil Hamilton. Do you know who Neil Hamilton is?
I do know that name, yeah.
Neil Hamilton played Perry White in the old George Reeves Superman television show from the 1950s. So this fellow right here is my Perry White.
Oh, cool.
As you can see, he looks very much like Neil Hamilton.
He does in the face. I like the face sculpt. It looks awesome.
Yeah, the only problem with him is he is so much smaller, and I don't have a Superman figure to show you, so I'll use the McFarlane figure just here, which
right,
is the same size. As you can see, he looks like a midget next to him.
So he's not necessarily in the same.
This is a 1/16 scale figure, and this is a 1/18 scale figure, 3 3/4 versus 1/16 scale, which
right.
I don't remember what the actual scale is on that one, but 1/18, and 1/16. So this figure here is very much smaller, and he was shorter than the other Adventure People figures anyway, but not by very much. But he was supposed to be a little shorter than them. So usually when I display this in the display, I usually hide his legs behind something and put him up on a block of some sort, so that because his upper portions match pretty much with superpowers enough to where you can see it. And I've thought about putting some different legs on him, but I'm just not going to do that. But this is my Perry White figure.
Pretty cool.
I thought I would show that one off. And I actually have in my collection the band that figure came with.
Yeah.
And I haven't really done it yet, but my thoughts on that were to repaint the van and turn it into a WGBS television station band. And I don't know if that rings anything for you, but for DC Comics fans, they all know that the television station in Metropolis is WGBS, and that's where Lana Lang worked, and that's where Kent ended up working after WGBS bought out the Daily Planet.
Yeah,
Kent became a television reporter. This is back in the Bronze Age in the 70s. So that pretty much concludes our look at superpowers today. Let's go back to the chat here, and I'm just going to look and see the last few. Adventure People were before my time, said Bjorn. I agree with Rolo. You should do some more in-depth videos of individual figures and more details. I definitely tune in for them. Well, I'll certainly do that. And as a matter of fact, as a Patreon of mine, Will, if you will go into the Patreon page and give me some examples of figures that you would like me to showcase on the show, I will incorporate that into future videos and future live streams. Will says, sit in behind a desk and you're good to go. Yes, that's exactly right. If you have a desk for Perry White to sit at and put him in a little chair behind the desk, you would never know that figure was way out of scale like that.
Yeah.
And Masters Man said, did you say Perry or Barry White? Because if he said Barry, They did not meet the character. No, Perry White. He's just joking. But yeah, Perry White. And like I said, the figure looks like Neil Hamilton in the face. And I don't know if that was done on purpose or not, but it just matches so perfectly to that. Pope's got a laugh out of that. And like I said, Pope, it's really amazing that you were able to get up after that bender that you put on last night and join me today. And it means a lot to me, Pope, that you showed up. So is there anything that you would like to see, Adam, that I haven't shown off today, or maybe something else that's in the room that you might like to see?
I know what I want to see, and I want to see the Roton package.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm going to tease you on that one for just a minute, because I want to show off just one more thing here before we get to the Roton package. And I was looking over here and I saw it, and it said, Bill, you need to show this to everyone. I have a little tub over here that holds some of my vehicles. Let's see if it can. Is mine? There he goes. It kind of appeared there by magic. There we go.
Are we going to see a magic trick?
No, not today. Here we go. Inside of here is some storage for some of the things that I've made over the years.
Okay, cool.
And I thought we would look at some of those. These are all mostly paper crafts. But first of all, I wanted to show you something, Adam, because you had mentioned this last time. If you remember the telephone booth playset,
yep,
I had a Daily Planet newspaper rack out there, and I told you that it came with a Spider-Man toy. Here is the Daily Bugle rack as it looked out of the package.
Oh, cool.
And it was from the Spider-Man movie. And when we get in close, you can see there's the paper that's on display, and that's actually a sticker. Okay.
Okay.
It's not really a sticker; it's more like it's made into that. I had to scrape that off to do mine, and it does include a stack of newspapers. They're actually separate newspapers in there. Do you see that?
Yeah. Which figure did this come with? Did this come did this come in a playset or a digital?
It was a bubble package action figure that included the pieces to make a street scene with a street light and a crosswalk thing on it and a red light. And the Spider-Man figure was from the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire.
I have him hanging on my wall.
And he had webs that would hook onto the street lights so that he could swing from the street lights.
Okay. Give me one sec. Continue on. I just want to do something.
Sure. And anyway, that figure came with that newspaper rack. And he also includes the newspaper, the Daily Bugle newspaper. Who is Spider-Man?
Is this the one that you're referring to?
It looked very much like that. If that's not the actual figure, yes.
Yeah, that's the Tobey Maguire one, I believe. I can't remember what.
And if that's the right figure, it came with a diorama set so that you create a New York street piece of sidewalk.
Okay.
A piece of sidewalk, and it had a street lamp that came up with two lamps on it, and you could clip on the side the red light and the crosswalk thing.
I'm gonna have to research that because I'd like to check that out.
Yeah, and it came with this. It's just a one-sided piece of paper that you fold up like that, and that makes the newspaper. But there were several of them inside the rack. So it looked like there was a stack of newspapers inside the paper rack. And I did pretty much the same thing with mine, except my newspapers, you can open them up and see the front and back. And that was the original rack, and I have it in here. And I also have a piece of doll's house furniture that's a park bench so that I can put it out and let the action figure sit on it.
I like that ice machine that you got going on there.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. This is actually a die cast metal with a glass bubble here on top, and the gumballs inside are actually separate little balls.
Oh, that's cool.
This is a gumball machine, and it came from Hobby Lobby over where the Doll's House accessories and furniture is located. And also before I came up with using this as the newspaper rack for the Daily Planet newspaper rack, I actually made papercraft versions of them.
Okay.
I have them in 3 different colors. I have a red one. Now here we go.
Invaders.
And it says "Drop Dead" underneath that in red. This actually opens up.
Oh, I love that. That is so cool.
And as you can see, there's the papers on the inside.
That's what I like about it, is you can even have the little papers.
Now
and
I'm fixing to blow your mind. We're gonna get one of these off out of here and look at it. I might have them glued together. I do. All right, there we go. I got them apart. I had a little piece of magician's wax in there. All right. This newspaper was in the Invasion comic book. Okay. And I have one over here, but I don't know if I can get to it. DC Comics released the Invasion edition of the Daily Planet, and it was a full-size newspaper of the newspaper that was featured in that comic book.
Okay.
Okay. And you could open it up and you could read it. It had articles in it and everything. All right. This newspaper is that newspaper. And you open it up here. I think I might have it glued together. I do. I've glued that together. But I'm going to try to get it apart. Yeah, it's going to tear. All right, I'm not going to do that one. I got a stack of them down here that aren't glued together. I glued these together so they would stay inside the newspaper rack. Hold on.
Right.
I want you to see this because it's going to blow your mind. Okay, we're going to move that out of the way for just a second. Here they are. Here's the stack of newspapers. Now, this stack of newspapers in my scenes would sit next to the newspaper rack like they just torn it off the paper truck.
Yeah.
They need to be put into the rack. All right, I'm going to get one out of the elastic I have around it. And I can open that up.
Is that ever cool, eh?
This was a scan. Scans were made of the actual newspaper that DC released. And
is that a missing person section?
No, these were this newspaper was based upon USA Today. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And in USA Today, and I don't know if they still do it or not because I haven't read USA Today in years, but they would have whatever the main storyline was, they would have just regular people and they would get a sentence or two from them as a reaction and put their picture in there beside it. Oh. And these people in these pictures here are actually people who worked at DC Comics, but they're playing characters from the comics, such as Funky Flashman down here. And Funky Flashman was Mr. Miracle's manager in the Mr. Miracle comic books. And this lady right up here at the top, that's Barbara Gordon, a.k.a.
Oh, that's Barb Gordon.
Yeah, a.k.a. Batgirl. But at the time,
yeah.
she had been paralyzed and she was Oracle.
Yeah.
And this lady over here is supposed to be the scientist that works at Star Labs that became a character called Rampage. Janet Clyburn, I think may have been her name. But that's actually Jeanette Kahn, who at the time was the publisher of DC Comics, was playing that character in that.
Oh, cool.
And of course, the it goes on. There's a business section here. It says Lex Tor positions for profit, and it's got Lex Luthor here. and then we have the city life over here, and that is Ordzilla, which was supposed to be a movie that was coming out soon. And Ordzilla was created by Jerry Ordway, and that is a caricature of Jerry Ordway's face there. And that's the city life. And up down here at the bottom, this is a real deep cut here. This is Teen Beam with a character called Sidney Milton, and Sidney Milton was a pseudonym for a person who used to be a prolific person who wrote to DC Comics. And the latest page over here in the back, we have the television listings and the movie listings for the movies that are coming out. Target, Quarak, Death Dreams, the Booths, which were like Smurfs. We have the crossword and comic sections over here. And there's the answers to the crossword puzzle. Here's some news from around the world. The sports section. This is the back section of sports, and here's sports here. So that's the entire newspaper miniaturized for the action figures. I thought you would get a kick out of seeing that.
That is pretty cool. That's
and
awesome.
I have a stack of them here that have a piece of elastic holding them together. I'm gonna just pop that back in there, so it'll take me a second to do that. If y'all indulge.
I'm amazed at all the details you can get in something so small.
Yeah, I had at the time I did this piece, I had access to a very high quality laser printer or laser copier, which allowed me to print that. Now, of course, most of the words are visible, but the words in the articles are blurred to the point where they can't be read even under a magnifying glass. But it doesn't matter, because moving on, I've got the yellow rack here, and it's got a newspaper in it. And let's see if I've got some on the inside. I may or may not. I can't remember. Yeah, I've got a stack of them on the inside. See that little stack of them. And I've got a blue rack over here. And it's got the Look Up in the Sky version of the Daily Planet that I created. And it also opens up, if I can get it to open up without. There we go. And it's got a stack of newspapers in it as well.
I love that.
And down here at the bottom, I also have some Coca-Cola drinks bottles that are about the size for action figures.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
And why do I have those? Well, they go in the soda cola machine that I made. So soda cola, paper craft soda cola.
Soda cola, yeah, that's an awesome reference.
That's a deep cut too. I see that you caught it there, Adam.
Yeah, I caught it because I play DC Universe Online, and that's one of the things that's in that particular game is that soda cola. So,
little piece of equipment for the action figures to use. That's actually from Doctor Who, but and I made that. And it's just something that's in there. I'll put this. Spot. Each of these pieces has a spot inside of this that they go. So I need to make sure I put them back. Moving right along, we'll look at the ice machine here real quick, because you expressed some interest in that.
Yeah.
This piece, the pattern that I used for this actually made a much smaller ice machine. I might have it. Yeah, it's over here. I'll show you what I had to do. I had to blow that up and then find new pictures, high-res pictures to add to it.
Right.
But this was a paper craft that was designed to be made for 25 millimeter metal figures that were used in a role-playing game.
Oh.
And this is how big it was when you made it. So I took that pattern and blew it up and added new artwork to it.
That's awesome. I'd really like that because it really resembles an ice machine that you would see out at a corner store.
Exactly. Including the nasty doors. Well, they always look like that. Have you ever seen an ice machine that didn't look nasty on the
Right.
front?
It looks weathered like it's supposed to. It's
That's
pretty
right.
cool.
And of course,
Do they open up or anything, or you just did?
no, I did not make them to open up. I thought about doing that, but I didn't want to. It's just kind of a piece that sits in the background of the scene,
Right.
and that's all it's meant to do. You see it back there, and it may not even register with you when you see this in a diorama scene. It's just back there minding its own business. But what it does is it makes the scene you're looking at look so much more realistic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because when you look at the front of a gas station or a convenience store, one of these will be sitting out in the front of it, and you know it's there in the back of your mind. But in the front of your mind, you don't really pay that close of attention to it. But just the fact that it's there, it's comforting. Lets you know that that's a real scene. So having pieces like this, just little things like that, can just bring out a diorama and make it pop.
Yep.
Now, underneath here, beside the is the stand that looks like a checkerboard floor that you might have seen inside of a diner somewhere. This stand is a soda cola stand for the soda cola machine to sit on, so that when if you wanted to put it on display on your display case, you could just sit on it like that.
So cool. I've actually made a couple props myself.
I got big into making paper crafts there at one time when I had access to the printers that can make beautiful paper crafts. Here's another soda cola machine that I made. This one here, I used a piece of paper clip to actually make the handle that was supposed to open this piece here.
Right.
I thought about making one where you could actually put the soda bottles inside the little holes, but I never did. It takes a lot of time to do stuff like that. Now, before I get to the coup de grace, I want to show you the mailboxes. You've seen these before. I had one on the set with the telephone booth. I made a bunch of these, but they're U.S. Post Office mailboxes that have the logos on them from back in the 70s and early 80s. And I made several different versions of these while I was trying to find which ones of these images looked the best. Some of these are a little more high risk. Can you even see the word U.S. mail on that?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Yep, I can read it.
Yeah. And it kind of looks like it would on the mailbox, as if it's part of it's smooth.
Like it's engraved or whatever.
Yeah. It's just smooth. I have 3 of those. And last but not least is the Papercraft telephone booth, which includes a telephone book back there in the back. It's got the telephone in it with the receiver on it.
What is the phone made out of? Like the cord and the phone itself?
Okay, the phone receiver, you mean, and the cord? Okay,
right.
Thing. All right, do you remember in the Clark Kent set that we saw last week on his desk was a telephone?
Yes.
It came, and I told you it came from a Walking Dead action figure as an accessory.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I actually cut the cord and the phone receiver off of one of those and put it inside of here. And of course, the payphone back there in the back is just a Papercraft box that I made with the picture of the phone, a high res picture of the phone put on it. And I actually used that's plastic there from a action figure bubble,
Okay.
Cut it out.
That's a good idea to use like a bubble. I know what you're talking about.
And blister packet. Even the door has that. I don't know if you can see that. See that.
Yeah.
And you can kind of kind of move it in and out like that. And the box, oh, the phone booth just fell out. See how far it fell and where it fell to, because if it fell too far, it kind of, I won't be able to find it, but I'll look for it in just a second. But anyway, yeah, even the floor down there looks like it's got that steel floor, flooring.
Yeah.
That's just a picture.
Oh, okay. Because it actually looks like it's actually engraved tiling.
Yeah, it's just a picture that I put on there. But and I found pictures of the old Bell system bell that I put on there and made the top part of it. A lot of people don't realize that the phone booths when they first came out had this top piece on them, and a lot of times that lit up so you could see it at night.
Right. That's cool.
Now, I'm going to spend just a second trying to find where that phone book fell to. Found it. Yes, and it even opens up. Yeah, here's the phone book that sits inside of there.
Oh, yes, sir. Just amazing the little small details you can get on these things. Oh, it even opens up and it looks like the yellow pages. That's hilarious.
And that just sits inside that phone booth, and that's where that lives. And that is the top portion. Now the bottom portion is where the Batmobile usually lives, but it's also got a few things in here. This is a tape storage unit for a computer. So it's a computer. This is what we thought computers looked like back in the day. Whenever we saw these spinning around, we thought computers as a kid. This is actually from Doctor Who. This was called the Brigadier's computer that sat in the doctor's lab for the third Doctor. And I have a set back there in which has a piece just like this. But I thought that this was just a perfect piece to go in like the Bat Cave or something like that.
Right.
And I have the Joker card, giant Joker card that goes in the Bat Cave. And I have it in this little frame here so that it can kind of sit in the background in this frame.
Pretty cool idea, yeah.
And last but not least, I have in here dumpsters. Nasty old dumpsters that you would see behind a store somewhere with stains and crap coming out of it, and the stickers that you would see on them.
It's so funny because it's similar to it's a little bit similar to the dumpsters that I made, because mine are they're in scale with the 6-inch figures. Those ones are your 3.5 quarter, right?
These are for superpower size figures, which are 1/16 scale.
Right.
And even the interior is nasty, so you can put trash in there if you wanted to. I usually ball up little pieces of paper and take little pieces of trash bag and cut them out. And
right. Yep.
And so I've got two of these. This one here's got different stickers on the side than that one, but they're the same size. And I have a Gotham City scene that goes with my Ultrarama display set, and I usually put these in that because Gotham City's nasty and it has dumpsters in it like that.
Yeah, I really liked your bat signal that you showed last time.
Oh, that was on a Patreon only stream. Yeah. If you become one of my Patreons, you can see stuff like that, folks. It doesn't cost you but just a little bit of money a month, and you can be a Patreon of mine, and you can help support my channel. At the end of my stream, you will see a link to that. So normally, let's see, this Batmobile lives in there. And I'm going to put him in there. It's the better version of the Batmobile, although we found that some of the parts that Capture Claw didn't work on either one of them. One of these days, I'm going to try to figure out why. But he lives in here just like this. Let me move that computer out of the way just a second here. He goes over here. And the Batmobile lives in there just like this. And then we put the top tray in there. And we got the lid here. There we go. The lid back on. Make sure everybody's back in their spots. Soda cola machine goes up here. And pop. And that's ready to go back into where it lives in the Superpowers closet. Oh, we forgot to put this stuff back in there. Let's do that.
Yeah, forgot about your bench.
A place for everything and everything in its place. That's what my grandmother used to say.
Yeah. I'm very particular about where my stuff goes to. Like, I have very specific spots. I remember when I was a kid, I don't know if you were the same way, but when I was growing up, I took very good care of most of my toys aside from the things that I like to chew on. But like, my toys were always lined up in a certain specific way, and I wouldn't let people touch them and things like that.
I was pretty much the same way. And my mother was a doll collector, and I got a lot of that from her because she was very particular about how her dolls were stored and displayed and the accessories. And she kind of imparted that to me with my toys. And if it hadn't been for my mother, I probably would have lost many of the accessories, such as the Star Wars action figures, guns, because she would find them. And she had a little Tupperware dish with the top that would snap on, and she would always put them in that when she would find them when she was cleaning the house.
Yeah. I'm just amazed that you even have anything from your childhood, because like I don't know what the heck happened to my stuff.
Well, a lot of people didn't have a mom that would save the stuff for them. My sister, for instance, her children have none of the toys that they had when they were growing up, because about once a year she would go in their room while they were at school or not there, and she would collect up a whole bunch of stuff and just either give it away, throw it away, or take it to Goodwill or something like that, and just get rid of it.
Right.
So they would come home one day from school and their crap would be gone. And I told her, she's my sister. And I told her, I said, you shouldn't do that to your children. Well, I'm not going to have all this junk junking up my house. She was one of those kind of people. Her house was always nice. It was a nice house. There was no clutter. She hated clutter. So a lot of kids grew up with a mom like that. So that's why they don't have their stuff. So what we got going on here, Bill? There better be a paper craft ice bags inside of it. Sorry, Pope guys. Yeah, never did that. Boba Hicks mailbox and newspaper rack. You got a whole bunch of stuff up there. And the old saying, everything on the floor goes in the trash bag cleaning. That's right, Pope. There's folks like that, and a lot of guys had a mom like that.
Yeah.
Will McLaughlin says Toy Biz Spider-Man, the movie 2002 Web Swinging Spider-Man, is the one that comes with the newspaper machine. So if you'll go back and look up in the chat there, Will McLaughlin tells you exactly what that figure is.
So it's not the one that I have, then, is what he's saying.
I don't know. It's a Toy Biz Spider-Man from the 2002 movie called Web Swinging Spider-Man.
I'm not sure which one I have. I just know it's Tobey Maguire. That's all that I have.
Yeah, and he's got a web. He's got a web there. Does that web?
No, I made that.
Oh, did you make that? Okay. Well, the one that I have came with the web that would hook onto the street lamp, so he could swing on the street lamp.
Yeah. This one has articulated like fingers in the center, like you can bend them backwards and forwards. So
now, before we leave today, we wanted to look at this. Did we not? Let's see if it's there. We go. Boom. There is the Roton box. And I'm not going to open it today, but we're going to look at it. The front has a picture of the Roton here with the faceplate and the
canopy,
canopy on it. It says modern posing, retro play. We have the holographic sticker. It's not a sticker. It's actually printed onto the box here that says 40th anniversary, and we have Skeletor riding in the Roton there on the front. And if we turn it down, we can see, I guess that's maybe Leech right here.
That's Cobra Khan.
Cobra Khan, okay.
Yeah.
And we have one of those little gargoyles that's on Castle Grayskull running around here on the
Yep.
side.
Oh, that's so cool.
Turn it this way, and we can see Snake Tower.
That's that's part of the New Eternia playset.
That's correct. And down here we have the Road Ripper with He-Man riding in it.
Yep.
If we go over to the other side, there is Screech.
Yeah.
Now we know that they're coming out with the Zoar action figure that's going to come with the Tila.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
the Tila is going to have a different head sculpt on her. It's going to have a ponytail on it, from what I understand.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And the body is going to be the same body, but it's going to be repainted like mine is that I customized with gold paint on it instead of the kind of a muted color. So it's going to be a little more golden.
Right.
So the fact that we see Screech back here may be a hint that we may see a Screech figure to go with our Zoar figure later on in the line, maybe.
Oh yeah, more than likely, I would think. Is there anything? Is there anything underneath Screech on? Like I just can't see it very clear. Is there anything else there that's in the back?
Cameron, we just see his feet, and there's a cloud there.
Oh, okay. I just wasn't sure if there was anything underneath of him or anything. It's just a cloud. Okay.
It's his feet in the cloud behind him. And going to the back here, I'll read the top. It says, whether on land or in the air, the Roton and its spinning blades carve a path of destruction. And then underneath the picture, it says, modernizing and celebrating the original 80s Masters of the Universe action figures. Masters of the Universe Origins gives you the power to pose Eternia's greatest warriors as retro style figures or in new action-packed battle positions.
Did they have any more of those there? Was that the only one?
I believe that's the only one.
Okay. I'm looking for that one too.
Yeah. And back here in the back, we see what we hope to see someday.
The Talon Fighter, yeah. Point Dread.
And there's regular Stratos there flying. And we see Skeletor driving the Roton.
Looks so good.
And he doesn't have the canopy on, and he doesn't have the faceplate on the picture here. And of course, the back down here tells us that we have removable blasters for surprise attacks. Attach the roll cage to protect the pilot. And finally, it says attach the faceplate to intimidate enemies. And underneath there is the cross cell that includes the Roton, He-Man from the 2000X series, Skeletor for 2000X. We have Pighead from the Sun Man line, and finally Mantenna, the evil spy with pop-out eyes.
So it is basically the vehicle for Wave 9, so that's cool.
And down here at the bottom, it says empowering the next generation through play, with the Mattel logo. And on the very, very bottom, it's just the safety information that it tells you that everything is recyclable, the box, the window, the insert, and the tray. Here is the UPC code. I'll bring it in camera so those of you can take a screenshot of that if you need to. Contains one vehicle and 3 accessories. And here's the logo, Masters of the Universe Roton Evil Assault Vehicle. So that is either a video that I might release later on, or I might do it in a live stream as an unboxing of that. But you can see inside the package, it's on display everything, the Roton here, the faceplate, and the 2 guns. And I understand that the roll cage, you see that that's the insert back there in the back is kind of slanted.
Yeah.
And underneath that cardboard is where the roll cage is.
Oh, okay, I see. That's where they're putting the canopies underneath. You just can't
Correct.
see it. You
You're
just
right.
can't. It looks like it's more glossier than the vintage one too, because the
Very
vintage one.
much so. The vintage one was matte plastic, and
Yep.
this one here is glossy plastic. And I don't know if the quote unquote stickers on the outside are stickers or whether they're actually like Baker's chest. What I don't forget what that's called. How they
Like if it's actually printed on, or if it's,
right.
I think they are stickers, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Pope's got a question for you there, Rad. Adam, he wants to know what you made that web out of for your Spider-Man figure.
Oh, it's actually, I know I did say I made it, but I actually didn't make it. What it actually is just those plastic ties that you get in those boxes, like that he's showing right there. That's all it was. And then all I did was just twist it all up, and then I just made him hang from it. So it's those twist ties that you get in the packages, and I just kind of recycled one and used it as his web.
Wow.
Okay. I make use of everything.
All right. So that's pretty much the show for today, folks. If you've got any questions for Adam or I, please post them in the chat before we decide to take it all. And Adam, you have anything that you want to add today? Here we're kind of getting towards the end of the show.
Yeah, I just wanted to, thank everybody for coming in and having me back on and stuff. I really enjoy it. And also, if you end up doing live stream unboxing for that Roton, I want in on that.
All right, I'll be sure and send you that invite code there, Adam. I'll be more than happy to. I'm going to take that out of the stream, bring us back together, put our overlay back up. And I was going to ask you, did you see the new overlay that I made for us today?
I did. I wanted to actually ask you how you did it, because I noticed mine is actually my older eyeball that I did, because I have an updated one, and I was just curious where you got it from.
I'm not really a graphic artist, and I don't steal anything, because as one of my mentors, a magician by the name of Pop Hayden, says, if you take enough things from enough places, it's called research.
Yeah, I was just curious because I forgot.
I actually went back, because I made you an intro as well. If you remember, I played that, and it was a very old intro of yours.
Yeah,
it's the music that makes me think I'm watching Radical Toys whenever I hear it playing, and the little eyeball would move around and look at you and kind of look from side to side. I love that little intro that you made back in the day. I actually went back to your channel, and this was in the middle of the night last night when I was cutting together the video that premiered earlier today.
Yeah.
And I watched several of your videos till I found the one that I wanted. And I actually used a piece of ripping software to rip that and get it off of there so that I could make a video with it. And then I used screen captures to get a good picture of your logo there so that I could stick it down into GIMP, pull the background off of it, make it transparent.
So is that how you did it? You just the StreamYard just allows you to bring in like PNG files? Is that how it works?
Yes, it's called overlay. Now, I don't know if the free version will allow you to upload your own overlays or not.
I don't think it does.
I'm all right. Warning everyone watching. I'm fixing to share my StreamYard screen with Adam and you guys. And of course, when that happens, you get this effect where you see like you're looking like you're standing between two mirrors and you see it going off into infinity. That's unnerving for people. So I want to give that trigger warning before I do this. All right, so I'm going to share screen. I'm going to share. Let me do a Chrome tab share.
Because I would like to do that for my streams. I just don't know if it's on the free version, but that is freaking cool. I like that.
Here we go. And here we go. I'm going to share this screen. And I'm going to bring it into the stream. All right. And I'm going to, it's in big end. Okay. Can you, if you look at, are you looking at your StreamYard screen right now?
Yeah, I'm looking at.
All right. If you look down in the lower right-hand corner of the screen that's being broadcast and hover your mouse over it, you're going to see something that pops up that will make the screen become even bigger and fill up your whole computer screen. And that way you can see more of what I'm going to show you here.
Yeah, I'm doing that now. I see it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Up at the top, you have your brand color, which I've seen you already using. And you see where you can show or not show your display names, and you can change the theme of how that looks when you show the display names. And then you have different logos. Now, the logo that you have is powered by StreamYard. It will not allow you to add any special logos to that.
Right.
But I have my icon, I have an on air, and I have a live stream here logo that I've replaced it powered by StreamYard with. And you click the little plus symbol here, and it uploads that on there. And here are my overlays, and you can add the overlays by hitting this plus down here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that over. Let me hide this. There we go. Right here where it says add overlay. And I have several different overlays that I've got. I've got the Rad and I logo, which is me and you. And let me hide that. I've got a StreamYard overlay that looks like this. It's got my logo at the very top and the subscribe. Speaking of which, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so now. And while you're taking care of the subscription, look down there at the bottom and you're going to see that thumbs up. Hit that for the like so you can like it. Thank you, folks. I have a couple of overlays that I created in the past. I got this one. You can't, let me get Pope's comment off of there so you can see it even better. Comments.
I'm going to look at this the moment we're finished. I'm going to look at this and see if it's there, but I don't think it's there for the free version. But
no, and you can't see it right now either because you're a guest in my StreamYard. You'd have to have your own StreamYard open and open up a test or something.
Right.
Anyway, there's this overlay, which I don't use much anymore. It was one of the first overlays that I made when I was figuring out how to make these overlays. And of course, these overlays are transparent PNG files.
Yeah.
This one is one that I use quite frequently. I never have used this one, but it has a banner at the top on how to support me on Patreon, and it's got the URL for my Patreon page. So this gives me a good chance to let everybody know. If you follow this URL here at the top, https://www.patreon.com/weirdfantastictoys, it will go to my Patreon page, and you can pledge some money on there, monthly amount, and become a Patreon of mine and help support the channel. This one I used when Jim was on the channel. It's me and Grindhead Jim.
Yep.
And the last but not least is the one that you're used to seeing, which is the free StreamYard overlay that comes with StreamYard. And I think you might be forced to use this one if you turn on an overlay in the free version. I don't think you're able to add new ones. I think that's one of the reasons why I went ahead and bought a monthly subscription to it so that I could do these things. And of course, you can add video clips. All the video clips that I use on here, I found out when I first started using StreamYard, I didn't know that you could upload your video clips over there like that. So I would actually just share a screen of the video clip playing, and that was coming through my end and not through StreamYard's end, which meant depending upon my internet connection, it might be chopped up, choppy, grainy, and didn't look very good. And then Jim clued me in that what you want to do is you want to upload your video clips to StreamYard and play them with StreamYard, and it clears them right up because StreamYard is sending it out from there server instead of from yours.
Right. That's how you're doing like your commercials and stuff, right?
That's correct. Now, there is a limitation on that. The file has to be 10 minutes long or shorter. It can't be any longer than 10 minutes. And there is a limitation on the size. So at the size, I think it's maybe a 100 megabytes. No, it's 200 megabytes or 300. If it's more than 200 or 300 megabytes, you have to either compress it or get it smaller.
Right.
And that's my video files. Here's my backgrounds, and you'll see those. My starting soon background, my stream in background, the plain brick wall that you see behind us now. I also have brick walls that use two-person interview. Let me go ahead and stop sharing this screen. No, I can't. Well, you see it all. And of course, there's some background music down here, which I don't use that when I'm streaming. But a lot of times when, like before and after streams, people may not realize this, but before the stream starts, before you see what we're doing right now, Adam and I can chat for a minute before the stream starts, or even afterwards, which I invite Adam to do with me today so we can talk about this even further. But you can chat with each other afterwards. And sometimes I'll play some background music in that, but I don't play them during the stream, although you can. As a matter of fact, I thought about playing this when you came in. I was going to play that when you came in at the beginning of the show, but I didn't do that. It's a lot of things that you got to remember, and I've got a few other backgrounds here. I've got an alien planet background and you just hide those. And
I could have a field day with all the custom art stuff that I would draw for my backgrounds. Like,
sure,
I could have a field day with it.
And that's what you should do when you step your game up. My stream just got really, really slow, so I might be choppy and grainy right now. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen. You don't need to see that.
That's fine.
And there we go. And anyway, I've got the I was going to show you the two-person interview here. It's got the logo down here at the bottom with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, letting people know that I have those social medias. My icon here, the subscribe, and of course the live stream over here on the other side, the little red thing, that's actually a logo that I can turn on or off. And if I want to, I could have an on air button. You see that? And or have my icon. Although I found that having the icon in the corner was redundant because it's used quite a bit on the other overlays. And I kind of like that live stream there. A few comments have rolled in. Gap After Dark's taking off. Have a good day there, Gap. Glad you came in. And Pope says have a good day. And I appreciate Pope. Pope stayed here for the whole time, even though that he's quite hungover. Have you had a Bloody Mary yet this morning? That's what you should have had as soon as you got out of bed. Is gone in the kitchen, made yourself a Bloody Mary, and get a little bit of that hair of the dog that takes care of that headache. You know, you know what I'm talking about there, Adam?
It's roughly, yeah.
Hair of the dog. That's when you drink a little bit of alcohol the next day, because that helps take the edge off of that headache that you got the next morning. Alcoholics tend to do that quite a bit. The word is drink what you drank the night before for breakfast the next morning, and your hangover goes away. I don't know how that works. I have done that in the past, but I quit drinking 3 years ago. Anyways, Pope says no, but I could use one though. Yeah, that's just a little tip from you, from me to you there, Pope. Next time you throw a bender on like that, if you wake up the next morning and drink you a Bloody Mary, it'll take the edge off that hangover burn. But that's pretty much going to be it for today, Adam. And I don't see any more people starting to head out of the chat. We still got 10 folks in the chat. I'm glad you guys stuck around with me today. And Adam, I hope you stick around after the show's over with for just a little bit so we can chat a little bit.
Sure can.
And hope everybody has a great day. And I'm going to sign off with the words of my great friend John Paul Revere, who says, together we shall triumph.
Special thanks to these supporters on Patreon. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like and subscribe and share the video.